The beginning of June through like the beginning of July is going to be a busy time in Mr. Alexander's life.
Yeah, me too. For me, I might make a trip at the end of the month to Utah. You're going to Cancun, and you're coming here. And then I guess you'll go up to see your friends in Washington or something?
I'm not going to do all that. You're the top of the list.
The defense team out in the middle of our recreated crime scene, along with our jury and our online jury at home for the bold accusation Jody premeditated the killing. Kirby Clemens, Janet Johnson. All right, Kirby, the cover-up was important for you. I'll give you a chance to present a little additional evidence to the jury.
Well, I'd just like to point something out to you. Just because she made all those efforts to cover up what had happened, that does not equal the same as premeditation. After you do something wrong, after something bad happens, you clean it up. But post-crime cover-up consciousness of guilt is not the same as premeditation.
Right. I mean, we admitted she did something wrong. She did something criminal. She may have committed second-degree murder, but she didn't commit premeditated murder. We're not saying she's a good girl and she behaved properly, but the things she did don't show premeditation. And, by the way, her phone could have not had service because she was in the desert, Kirby, not in Phoenix, where Vinny was talking to.
Exactly.
Okay, the reception, both sides focusing on that, but our jury has a lot of questions. Juror number 2.
Isn't it possible that she brought the gun to kill him, but gave him one last chance to be with her, but when he denied her, she freaked out and started stabbing him?
And if that theory is correct, sir, then it's not premeditated murder. It is a crime of passion. That's number one. Number two, there's no proof that this was the gun. They keep saying the same caliber. 25 caliber guns are a dime a dozen. You can walk probably a mile from here and pick you up a couple on the side of the road. They are a dime a dozen. There's nothing that shows that that was the gun used to kill this man.
Well, and by the way, she lives with her grandparents. She could just take that gun. She doesn't have to stage a burglary. That's a red herring. That's being flashed out there because it's really shiny. But there's no evidence that she took it. None.
She wasn't even charged with that crime.
Right.
All right, juror number 11.
That last picture that was found on the camera, where he's already dead. How did that one? How's she explaining that one? If he supposedly chased her out of the tub.
Well, that it got dropped. I mean, there's this violent struggle that it gets dropped on the ground. It's getting, I mean, you know, one of the things is they're at weird angles. She's a professional photographer, so she certainly didn't pose him in those pictures, other than the ones like this, where that were clearly posed. But again, it goes to why would she take a picture? You know, everything that the prosecution's trying to argue shows, well, of course she's a twisted person. She would have sex with him. Of course she would do this. There's no evidence of any of those things.
And again, who premeditates a murder and brings a camera to this crime scene? It's just foolish.
All right, juror number 8.
Yeah, you guys had said earlier that it couldn't have been premeditated because it was messy, but if you're stabbing someone and shooting someone twice your size, how could it not get messy?
You know, and that's a great point. I mean, she did do those things, and it did get messy, but what we're saying is if you're going to premeditate a murder, and it's hard to put yourself in this mindset, but you want to get away with it. You want it to be easy. He was asleep. She was there for 13 hours. Why would she do it in this violent way? That shows passion, doesn't it? I mean, that shows some sort of frenzy. Yeah, she was upset with this guy, and she was in a frenzy because she had a trigger, not premeditation. Those are two different things.
All right, great probing questions by our jury. You've had a chance to ask both sides questions, but the prosecution has a smoking gun.
You know what? The question always is motive. What was Jodi Arias's motive? It definitely wasn't money. Could it really have been jealousy? She knew that he was fooling around with other women for years. So maybe that's why the defense has asked the judge to give the jury the heat of passion instruction. Maybe they're coming to the conclusion that the best that they can hope for is that this jury finds her guilty of something less than first-degree premeditated murder.